Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Hey, psst. Hey, you see that Snickers over there? If no one's looking, you should just take it.
No! Don't listen to him, my son. That would be stealing, and stealing is a sin.
Sin Schmin, it's a friggin' Snickers bar. You deserve to have it. Sinning really satisfies you.
Repent, my child. Virtue is the only real snack worth savoring. For that candy bar is merely a gateway to nougat damnation. Has this ever happened to you?
Listening to the devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other, and you're not sure what to think?
Then we're here to help. I'm Pete Wright.
And I'm Tommy Metz III, and this season on All the Feelings, we're examining the 7 deadly sins.
You know, the fun ones.
And the 7 heavenly virtues.
Which are also a thing. Through personal stories, historical oddities, and way too much embarrassment, we take you on a thrilling journey through all the goods and the bads you hear about in church.
But without all that pesky church stuff. So come join us for All the Feelings Season 9, a sometimes funny podcast about being human. All the sins, all the virtues.
All in one place. Go to allthefeelings.fun to learn more, or subscribe to All the Feelings wherever you get your podcasts.
Game over.
Hey there, true believers. Andy Nelson here from the Marvel Movie Minute podcast with the rest of the team.
Pete Wright.
Kyle Olson.
Rob Kubasko.
And Matthew Fox.
This is the podcast where we dissect the Marvel Cinematic Universe 1 minute at a time, exploring every detail of this epic superhero franchise.
In our season looking at Iron Man 3, we're going to mix things up a bit.
That's right. Rob and I are your guides, but instead of our usual minute-by-minute format, we dive into 5 minutes of the film in each weekly episode.
It's a totally new approach, but one that still allows us to explore all the depth and detail that makes these movies so special. Even if Iron Man 3 isn't all that special.
Hold on. That's where you're wrong. Extremist, Shane Black.
Yeah. Would you like to look at the Mandarin and Maya Hansen? Mm-hmm.
So whether you're a die-hard Marvel fan or just love deep dives into movies, there's something for everyone on Marvel Movie Minute.
Suit up and join us on this epic audio adventure. You can find us at truestory.fm or by searching Marvel Movie Minute on your favorite podcatcher.
Because in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, every minute is packed with excitement.
Enough said.
This month, the DC Universe gets a hard reboot, and James Gunn is holding the jumper cables. Superman is here, soaring into theaters with a new face, a new tone, and, yes, a superpowered dog. David Corenswet dons the cape as the latest Clark Kent, Rachel Brosnahan sharpens her pen as Lois Lane, and Nicholas Hoult polishes his billionaire complex as Lex Luthor. Is this the hopeful reset DC desperately needed, or just another CGI cramped cape flick with a better playlist? Kyle, Rob, Tommy, and Ocean are all here, so let's get those X-powered monkeys a-typin'. This is the Film Board.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for what some might...
It's a lot of fire.
It's a lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny?
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman. Did you consult with the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of the United States.
I wasn't representing anybody except for me and doing good.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
When you get your car jumped, do you call it a hard reboot?
I do.
I just want to make
That's
sure.
what I do. It's an electric car.
Oh, sure. That totally makes sense. Then yes, power cycle. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to rip off the Band-Aid and do our opening thoughts. This is the thing that we do before we start talking about details. It's opening thoughts time, and I want to go to the person I'm least nervous about because I know kind of where his general vibe is on all these movies. That's Tommy. Tommy, set the table.
I had a lot of fun with this movie overall. I do have problems with it. I think ultimately it is still not for me, but the things that I loved about it, I deeply loved, and anything involving the dog was absolute perfection. And there was a lot of stuff with the dog and Nathan Fillion. So overall, this gave me what these movies almost never do, which was a really good time. I was a little out fake things on fake things after a while, but we can get into that. But overall, I'm very glad that I saw it.
Excellent. Okay. Ocean, my friend, what do you have to say about this?
I want to start off with the movie itself is entertaining.
Okay.
I love that we don't have an origin story. And while he is already being Superman. I like the overall story, the look, and most of the acting, but I find that the comic book nerd in me has issues with the film. And however, I am going to be fair. I have always thought that Superman is like the Hulk and doesn't really work as the star of a movie. So the changes and weakening of him that is done in this movie may be what it takes for mass appeal. And so even though I guess in summary, even though I think that it is a good movie, I'm not sure if it's for me.
Oh my goodness. Okay. We've got two not sure if it's for yous. Kyle L.
I'm sort of with Ocean a little bit is that I had a difficult time because sorting through all of the things with my nerddom, because I was like, okay, that character's from this and this is from that and that's from here, but they're not doing this, they're doing that. I found myself in my head with the conspiracy wall behind me, sort of doing a lot of stuff as my family was like asking me what I thought of it. And I was like, I'm still trying to figure out why they chose the engineer from Wildstorm to bring into this, that I was still doing the mental math. But I like Tommy said, I found it wildly entertaining. I felt like we haven't seen a really hopeful, exciting film from DC in a long time. Everything else has been an emotional slog, or everybody's dirty and covered in growling and covered in muck and despair, to actually have bright shiny to actually hit the Silver Age, which I know probably only Ocean understands, was wildly exciting to me. But there's still the James Gunn of it all, and that's sort of where I hit a little bit. So I'm excited about this too, because I kind of have avoided anyone else's take on this. So this will be the first time I've talked to anybody or read anybody about how they felt about this movie. So let's get into it.
All right, Rob.
Since 1978, I have been in love. I have been in love with comic book movies.
Okay.
This is a movie comic book. Different noun. And I am still processing what I think of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I'm there too.
And that is my take. I have never seen a movie in this genre where I feel like I picked up issue 36 in a 48 series run, and I don't know.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is like Man of a Thousand Faces watching this, there are some things that are so incredibly amazing, which we will talk about, and there are some things that I don't ever want to see again.
Oh no.
And there's a lot to discuss. And then there's the one big one, which I'm going to call the iron elephant in the room, which we will talk about.
God, we're speaking in code now.
Oh, you'll see.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see.
He'll pay it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am last, and I have to tell you, all of your uncertainty is flummoxing to me. I absolutely agree with Rob. That is the first time I've run into somebody else who says those words. It's a movie comic book.
Yeah.
And I found that from the moment we meet he's taken in the opening sequence, I thought, oh my God, this is a comic book movie's comic book movie. Like, it really does feel like a motion comic in tone, in texture. It's a strange thing. I can't quite put my fingers on what it is that makes this feel different. And I think that's the part I'm going to have to process. But overall, you guys, I legit loved this movie. I bring that kind of enthusiasm to it. I'm just going to say I'm having a hell of a summer already. I mean, we got F1, we had dinosaurs. Movie was kind of crummy, but it was dinosaurs. And now we've got this hell of a summer. I am actually quite pleased with what they did. And for the first time in our modern superhero movie era, I'm able to say I have to co-rank Marvel and DC in my favorite comic book movies, because now we get to break up the Marvel dominance of my favorite comic book movies. Before this, DC didn't have a chance. So,
are you including the Dark Knight in those?
No, of course not.
Oh,
no,
okay.
That's
Good.
not,
Okay.
no, we never
Right. So
count. We never count. The Dark Knight's not
movies, right?
counted in any of these.
Okay.
It is a standalone.
Okay.
That's the Dark Knight universe.
Yeah.
That's all
Okay.
it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm also not
thought
including. I'm also not including Batman. Right. That's
Okay.
That
Yes.
doesn't get to play in this.
Okay.
Right? That's-
Batman
okay.
89 or the Batman?
Yeah.
No, the Batman. Sorry, you're absolutely right. No. So there we go. Let us do. I'm kind of exhausted and also very excited. This is big energy drink vibes, Pete, that you're getting right now. So let's just start with a little bit of table setting, and I'd love it if Kyle and Ocean, you could just give us a sense. I went through and I did some of the best sort of documentation of where I think this movie comes from. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I do think it's important to know how grounded it is in lore.
Right.
Fair?
I'll set up a little bit and then I'll throw to Ocean.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a very, very short version of this. Is when Superman premiered, that was sort of what they considered the Bronze Age. And so that was Superman was just a strong guy who lifted cars and couldn't fly, and he mostly punched mobsters. That's pretty much all Superman was for the first number of years of his stuff. He
actually leapt tall buildings.
In the thing, he says, fastest speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings, not fly over buildings, but leap. Like he was just a big, strong guy. And
can I just take a minute and say how entertaining it is to watch Tom learn these things for the first time?
I was like,
Action number one is him just lifting a car of gangsters. Like that's what it was. And so for the longest time, and even the Superman TV show, it's mostly just him punching mobsters. Like that's what the show is.
Okay.
And then once that had sort of had run its course, then we enter the Silver Age, and that's when things get weird. And that is sort of, for a lot of people, this is where Superman becomes Superman, because suddenly now he's flying. We have Kryptonite and Beppo the Super Monkey and Comet the Wonder Horse, and like all of this weirdness comes, and this is where Krypto comes in. And then suddenly now Superman is fighting aliens, and he's pushing the Earth out of alignment. Like he is going way farther and way weirder than anything we've seen. And we've never seen that depicted on screen until now, because they always just either have it's the regular world and there's a guy who's also super in it, or you get they jump right over to the 90s grim and gritty stuff, and suddenly it's Superman brought low. In the muck fighting with Batman and stuff too. And we've never gotten this sense of wonder and awe and weird stuff can happen, and there's heroes all over the place, and it's bright colored. And for that, I give this movie high marks, because no one's ever tried to do this before. And so it's hard to grade it, because it's like you took such a big swing and no one's ever been to this part of the Superman lore before. So I give them points just for that. We'll see, will people love it? Will they continue on? I don't know. But I'm so happy. From the moment that Krypto in that first trailer comes running through the snow, I was like, we're in a whole new era now, and I don't know how people are going to feel about it, but I'm excited. Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think, Ocean?
Well, honestly, I am happy that you went first, because that is literally, you said everything that I've been thinking, but better than what I was thinking about. So I honestly want to just encapsulate what you just said and then explain that to my friends and family, because I've been trying to say this, that the returning him to he's just a strong guy. Even getting over the shock at first of like, well, how did they break his skin? Why is he bleeding? What is this, internal organs? Or like dislocating a shoulder? These are all things that Superman shouldn't be able to do this to him. And so that they were bringing him back to that earlier phase where he isn't effectively the immortal, omnipotent God of what you see in the modern times. And so it did take a bit for me to adjust back to thinking of Superman that way. And, honestly fighting off, am I going to be defensive? Am I going to say, well, this is not my Superman? And it's like, well, given the age and longevity and the amount of fandom and love of the character, is there really any one that you can say, oh, this is Superman and the rest of them aren't? Where this, so that was what it was. It was part of it for me, and that's where I'm getting about with me is I need to get over myself a little bit and accept that, hey, you know what? There are other versions of this Superman that can be good, and I should see if I can get there.
I think that's a really interesting point, because generally they say you're going to be the biggest fan of whoever you saw when you were 13, right? Like whoever that was is your Superman. What's really interesting about it is that I feel a greater affinity to this Superman. Like, this is the Superman that feels more like my Superman than even Donner cut Superman, right? Like that's such a weird headspace for me to be in. So this Silver Age, really important. We get Lois Lane. I think the most interesting sort of celebration of Lois Lane and what Rachel Brosnahan brings is the 10-minute sequence of her interviewing Superman as Superman in the apartment. And a lot of that comes from Lois Lane, Enemy of the People, 2019, Greg Rucka. Mr. Terrific is what a stunning surprise.
He is
Mr.
one of my
Terrific
all-time favorite characters. He was okay in the Arrowverse, like they did, but they had him much more nebbishy, much more like unsure of himself. I'm like, but that's not what Mr. Terrific is. Like, Jeff Johns is one of the ones who took that character and really defined who he is, and he's never been seen until now, even in the Justice League Unlimited, never really been seen until now. And I'm so happy that people are going, who is Mr. Terrific? I was like, yes, I want to go onto the Google algorithms and see the spike of people like Googling Mr. Terrific.
Finding Mr. Terrific for the first time. This all came from the Terrifics run, 2018 to 2020. This Lex Luthor, we have, just like Superman, we have a lot of Luthors to choose from, right? And this one, arguably most of it comes from Lex Luthor, Man of Steel, 2005. Brian Azzarello, Luthor as a narcissistic genius who believes he's humanity's savior and that Superman is a dangerous alien threat. Been there a long time. We don't need to litigate the Superman is an immigrant thing. The Reddit's done that. Let's just say it's been there from jump, everybody. So that's fine. Settled science. We don't need to be
Superman is
that.
Moses.
Yeah, I think this Luthor is also different and unique in another way, where they return it back to the original reason that Luthor hated Superman and that it's stupid, right? You know, the whole original one about like, well, Superman had, what was it, that we were in high school together and there was an accident and Superman made him bald, so that's why he hates him.
Blew off his hair, literally.
Blew off his hair and hates him.
Blew off his hair.
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing ever. and in this one, they go back down to, it's like, look, I'm envious of you. I want people to like me the way they like you. I mean, this is straight Mean Girls stupid reason for all of this.
Yeah, he's a tech bro with a persecution complex.
Yeah, exactly. So then.
And doesn't even see his own flaws, which I loved too.
Absolutely not. And I guess that's part of where I think that it is an interesting duality, where he has all this power and ability to do all of these horrible things. And then at the end of it, you're kind of like, hey, maybe you just need to have someone talk to you for a bit because your reasoning is kind of stupid. And so maybe we can redirect you, as opposed to him being like some massive evil that needs to absolutely be stopped. You're almost at the end kind of want to help him. And I've never felt that way about any of the Luthors, where you're kind of like, oh, you just need a little bit of help. Maybe you need a friend. Or,
some of that goes to Nicholas Hoult, who I think portrayed this very, very well.
Oh, he was great.
A couple of more just data points for the DNA of the movie. Superman Peace on Earth was a late 90s one-shot where where we got to see Superman confront issues bigger than you can punch, right? Like he confronts world hunger and gets sad because he runs to the limit of what he can do in the world of doing good. It's kind of a vibes connection, but very much litigated back in that interview and the whole setup where he steps into world crises, which are in no way to be compared to Russia invading Ukraine. In no way whatsoever. We are not to speak of it. And the fact that Superman actually stopped that and actually created more problems, right? The limits of doing good. I think that's just a really interesting vibe check. And finally, we name check Maxwell Lord a number of times, and that's gonna be complicated.
Yes.
That is a character. In here, I'm assuming, those who know Maxwell Lord, tell me where you think this is going. I'm assuming they're setting him up as another billionaire industrialist. Right now, he's backer of the Justice Gang, but I expect big adaptation energy when we finally meet Maxwell Lord.
Well, yeah, we see him briefly in the montage sort of towards the end. I think where it's going is Peacemaker season 2. Like, I think we're going to see a lot more of him. It's obviously James Gunn's brother is Sean Gunn is the one who's playing him. So I would not be surprised to do that. But yeah, I'm curious to see where they go with that too, because we've already had billionaire industrialist super scientist Lex, and we already have Amanda Waller because we're keeping the same Amanda Waller from the previous incarnation. So where does Maxwell Lord fit between those two?
Because what he has over other billionaires is he's also a metahuman with mind control powers. Like he was a cyborg at one point. Yeah, right. So
is he the one on the news that says liberals and conservatives can guarantee or can agree that Lex Luthor sucks?
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay. That was him.
No love lost between Maxwell Lord and Lex Luthor. Never pals.
But historically, he's a bad guy.
Yes.
Right? Like he's a bad guy.
Well, he was a politician, which I guess I can now.
So he's a bad guy.
But he was sort of the guy who like sort of made the JLA into a business for a while, and then later on they sort of took him more in a dark, like, it turns out the reason people agreed to work with him is because he was mind controlling them. So it was a retcon.
And he's Pedro Pascal from Wonder Woman 84.
No,
right?
Nope, different character.
Oh,
okay. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for coming.
I was fine with it, Rob.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so that's generally set. Oh, and of course the dog. Gunn said the dog was the starting point of the movie. He said I wasn't going to direct it or write it if I couldn't get the dog to work, and I am so deeply thankful that he got the dog to work because I'm going to see this movie 1,000 times.
Justification for Rob. Yeah, it actually was. He was Maxwell Lorenzano, but they basically his nickname was Max Lord. I never really put that.
I was just going to take it. I was just going to take it. It's cool.
I hate it. You're right.
I'm not
you
proud.
get the nerd points of it.
I am on my knee right now.
We were all there. We all showed up from maybe before and walked out going, or probably stood up from our couch because it was streaming, going,
exactly.
What happened? But that's DC of the past.
Yes, I guess that does also say how much we were paying attention.
Yes, exactly.
True.
Yeah.
Dog comes very much from the Justice League animated or Superman the animated series and the Silver Age comics. Again, as Kyle said, when things got weird. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now let's turn our attention to the film. Tom, you've been quiet because for reasons. I imagine you haven't read the catalog.
I've not.
Okay. But now you're watching this movie. The movie starts, and we get the setup. We get the setup that this is blessedly not an origin story. Did you feel like you were in good hands as this movie started? Did this movie exude confidence?
I'm of two minds because I was overjoyed that it was not an origin story. But I also really had trouble getting my footing for a while. We are told in pretty fast-moving text about an entire thing that happened off camera about two fake countries and him doing something involving the fake countries and all of that just sort of being told and going like, go. It took me a while to understand, and maybe it's because the first time you're seeing Superman, he's gotten the S beat out of him and he's bleeding. I was just sort of like, I felt like I needed a primer to go into the movie. I also needed a primer on who is Lex Luthor in this world. Like, have they been battling? Does he know that Lex Luthor is behind this? How does he know to go right to Lex Luthor's office and say, give me the dog? How did he know that was, I just didn't know those things. I know who Lex Luthor is, but because we sped past the origin story, I just didn't know, like, is he famous? He's got an enormous building, but is he known for being a jerk? Is he Elon Musk? What is he? So it was just hard for me to get my footing for a while. And then, I mean, it took a while. And then another thing,
do you think, though, let me just ask, though, because this is,
Please.
I think, important. Do you think that it's actually worse because you know a little? Can you put yourself in that space of knowing nothing? Do you think you could have gotten up to speed? Because that's what, like most movies that we've seen, we know nothing and we just go for the ride. Part of that, like friction, feels like I'm trying to adapt this new thing to past knowledge, and that's creating cognitive dissonance.
Maybe, yeah. Especially, except I feel like Lex Luthor has been so many different things at different times. Like, is he always been like world famous?
You can't ever say always with the DC.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure.
But
Pete,
he's been Mr. Big Deal for a long time.
He's been Mr. Big Deal. So yeah, I think maybe that's a part of it. But then also the movie really trusts either me or that just it has huge just go with it intentions. Yeah. And eventually I did get it, but it also does some interesting things like, how are they going to get into the Kingdom of Ice Solitude? And they just do. And it's not explained for so long that it feels like a movie mistake. It feels like they just forgot about it and they're not going to go back. That's not a very satisfying way to tell a story. I felt like that a little bit. I felt like the movie was rocketing so fast, even before an enormous black hole shows up in the middle of the world, that I was holding on. And so I just was, I was really holding on tight. It was hard. For me.
15 minutes in, my wife turns to me and says, why does this Luthor hate him so much? And credit to my wife, she said this Luthor. Like, she understood, okay, this is a different Superman. But she's like, why does he hate him so much? And I wonder how many people are going into this with, and they don't have the lore. They don't even have the handle. And they're like, yo, I'm still trying to unpack that metahumans have been around for 300 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you that my 11-year-old was lost.
Like, wait a minute. Really? Like, you mean so the American Revolution still happened?
Back to that later.
And there were metahumans? Yeah. What do you mean? What?
Yeah, you're not supposed to think about it, Rob. Even the question.
I think it was a synergy with the number 3.
It was the 3s.
So you needed a 3, and they just said, well, 300. That sounds good. There was a 300 movie. So not to Frank Miller. That's it.
Yes. Well, it's coming out of the gate. Like, for me, it was already 2 sins. First of all, it's a bad title. Like, Superman, it's a bad title. Superman Legacy, I thought was more interesting, but I guess they were so. I mean, Last Son of Krypton would have made more sense, but like, just calling it Superman, it just seems so lazy to me.
This is the new number 1s, man.
I guess so.
The new 52.
Even Superman number 1 would have been a great title.
Oh, that would have been a boss title.
Oh, that would have been.
Anyway, and then text on screen. I was like, all of a sudden, the first thought I had was, hey, this is how Green Lantern started.
We just saw a movie together, Kyle, that did the same thing.
And Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park Rebirth, which never recovered. Like, it was like, ooh, already walking in like, I don't like this. But I like that it was sort of almost lyrical in terms of
I like the style of it,
like the 3 and then boom, right to Superman dropping. I was like, okay, all right, I'll give you half a sin back for that.
It's so interesting. I feel like I was much more generous to it. Yeah.
To your point, Pete, and I'm not going to keep talking about how I don't know what things are, but I also had a little bit of that panic of, am I supposed to know what Bavaria is?
Right.
Am I supposed to know what these two places are? Have these existed? like, did I accidentally walk into the second Lord of the Rings thinking it was the first one? So there was a little bit of a panic about that too. So it was just, I felt immediately lost, and seeing it again, I would feel a lot more calmed down.
Yeah.
About it, but I felt over my head in a movie that was trying to make it pretty easy for me, but it was hard for a while.
I get it. I do get it, and I think it's interesting to hear how the four of you sort of echo that sentiment, and that's not the movie I saw, and I think I was just so childlike and just lost in exuberance once it started that I was willing to wait for the resolve to how did they get into the Fortress of Solitude, those kinds of questions. Why did he hate so much? Well, I was able to wait to see that character resolution, and so I hope you all see it again.
Maybe I'm too used to being spoon-fed. I mean, maybe it's very much a problem for me and not the movie. That's my overall thesis: is the failures for the movie have more to do with me than the movie itself.
For the nerdiest among us, did anyone not know how they got in? Like as soon as Lex and Ultraman, did anybody else? Did anybody not figure that out? Because from the moment it opened up, I'm like, they're doing Bizarro.
If they're doing Bizarro,
I had no idea.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it looked very. Yes, I agree with you, but I agree with you in that it was very obvious what they were doing. But I am going to own up to that. I was at that point really trying to go with it. The way the opening scene was, everything with Crypto, the dog dragging him along. We've got internal bleeding. I started feeling like, hey, I need to shut some of me off, or I'm going to be hating on this movie.
Yes.
And I did end up shutting off part of me that I was like, how did they get in there? He just walked in there. Like, what is that? So when the whole thing came around, I was just going to trust the movie to explain to me what was going on, because I found that I was trying to have effort to make sure that I did not get in the way of enjoying this movie. Because I found myself resisting, like, hey, this is not Superman, and I needed to get away from that. So I shut off a lot of things.
I felt you fight that from here.
Oh, wow.
Make no mistake, I would say this. When I started with my thing about movie comic books, I'm not saying I hate movie comic books. I want to learn to love them. I need to see this movie again.
Yeah.
I need to watch the rest of Creature Commandos, and I need to see Supergirl next year. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I spent the first
so there's
like,
more
sort
there's
of
more
cataloging everything of like looking for references and cameos and in jokes and that kind of stuff. And now I can go in. Okay, now that I'm no surprise, now that I've seen all that, I can sort of go in and watch it again that way. Also, the Ultraman thing was a double swerve because Ultraman is Superman's evil twin from another dimension.
Yes.
And so when it was like they're like, oh, they're doing an alternate reality Superman, which I'm like, that's a lot for this movie to handle. Like, also there's another dimension, also there's another Superman, and then to have it make us think that, and then have it be Bizarro was a nice like fanboy swerve on their part. So kudos to that.
Yes, it was. I initially thought when they said Ultraman, I was thinking of the alternate universe Ultraman, and then what they do, the pocket universe thing, which is kind of weird.
Is this the bleed?
It's also kind of weird that you're like there's part of the interesting thing with the motivations of Lex Luthor. It's kind of like, look, so you're telling me you can do a pocket universe and you're still just messing around with trying to kill Superman?
But that was so great with Mr. Terrific pointed that out. And was like, this guy is junk science. I was like, oh yeah, sixth smartest man.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, let's transition to some more humanly fair. Lois Lane. Do you have Superman without Lois Lane? I don't think so. And this one, we have Rachel Brosnahan, the one and only Miss Maisel. How do you feel about this one? Was this your Lois Lane?
She is the definitive Lois Lane for me. She was the best thing about the movie.
Are we just saying live action?
Live action.
Okay.
She is the definitive live action Lois Lane. She's literally the best thing. It is brilliant. I want to see more of her. Please, HBO Max, do the Lois Chronicles, an 8-part series about and make the whole theme investigative journalism in this universe. You can have a whole playground with things to say about it. Please, more. She is absolutely amazing.
Actually, that whole crew, like the Daily Planet crew, to actually give them something to do in the last thing as opposed to being rescued was great because they're still continuing to do journalism while Metropolis is literally being ripped in half. I was like,
consequence.
That's dedication. Right. And it pays off too.
Jimmy, Skylar Gisondo.
Jimmy, what do we think about Jimmy Olsen?
Ladies Man?
Ladies Man, yeah, exactly.
That was weird.
That was a choice.
Yeah, that was an option. And the problem I had with that for me was not only it's like he's always just this nerdy Superman, Superman fanboy character, and then they make him a ladies man, which is funny. But then I was like, well, he still looks like a Superman fanboy. It's not like they, got some really handsome actor that's like all, buff and jacked and chiseled, but you would think of that.
Tom Holland.
So right, exactly. So then they're doing that, and then like even how Lois Lane reacts to him was kind of like, really? How are you doing this? You as the audience are also like, yeah, how are you doing this?
Yeah. Well, they had the two sort of interns or whatever, like looking over, like, hey, check out Jimmy Olsen. I was like, really?
Yeah.
So I will just say this: if you have a daughter of a teen or adult age, and you talk to them about the current croppings of male suitors, you would understand why they took that approach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
That's it.
Because it's real.
Yeah, it's legit.
Yeah.
Well, he does have a pretty good track record in the comics, though. Like, honestly, Jimmy Olsen's done all right.
Well,
he's
doing fine.
I really like the actor Skylar Gisondo. I think it's Gisondo. Licorice Pizza, Booksmart, Vacation, a classic Neo Rusty in the most recent Vacation. He's fantastic. He's really, really great. And so seeing him as a familiar sort of modern young male side star right now is I thought it was really, really charming. I think he fit, and I think that just leaning in the levels to which they leaned in on his ladies man appearance do wonders for that James Gunn humor. Like James Gunn thinks probably the same thing we do. Like it's a weird choice. Let's do it. Right? It's just funny.
So then was Eve Miss Tessmacher?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't see in the credits because they never say it on there. I just wanted to
in the credits
clarify.
they give her last name.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Cool. That was one of those things where like all the way through my wife was going, oh, come on. Like the status obsessed blonde who's
taking selfies of everything.
Who's in love with like some rando and taking selfies all the time. And then when it pays off that she's been secretly like hiding intel on all Alexa's operations to blackmail him or whatever, it's so like, oh, okay, all right. There's more going on here, and I appreciated that.
Okay, of all the things that you guys have said you had trouble believing initially, did you believe that she intended to take those selfies with real information behind her? Because it took me a while to figure that out.
I think so, because she's actively weaponizing them. She doesn't send the wrong folder.
No, she sends all of them.
Yeah, but she's not saying, I'm going to send all of my selfies to this guy to get back at you. I mean, she seemed to know what she was doing.
Yeah. Oh, I think you're right. I definitely think you're right. I just didn't catch it. Like that was the thing I missed. I was like, this is dumb. That's a dumb joke. That she just sends selfies. And I think that's what I'm supposed to feel. That I'm the dummy.
And Cat Grant and Steve Lombard are there.
Yeah.
Like I don't
right.
I guess it's nice to have this group, but like why did you feel the need to have them like as part of the action? They don't really have a lot of funny things to say or do.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
But you mean like the rest of the newsroom.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
It's tough though. I mean, you're touching on, I think, the problem with so many characters.
Yes.
So, like, give you a great example. Anybody want to take a guess? How many minutes is he on screen as Clark Kent?
It's less than 5. But then also here with that too, the question that gets even with that is, in the interview, who is he? Right?
Well, he's Superman.
Not the whole time.
Not the whole time. He goes back and forth. He's just answering Superman. He's not dressed as Superman. He is Clark Kent. He's just acts,
okay.
So,
is he Clark all the time?
Exactly.
Or is he Superman pretending to be Clark? Like, that goes back to that Quentin Tarantino question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Which is why the interview, I think, is so elegant. I think that scene is really well written. And it allows Corenswet, who I don't know very well, to bounce back and forth between these identities and frustration and rage and uncertainty and the entire ideology of just wanting to do good when it runs into Lois Lane saying maybe doing good every time isn't the right strategy. And I think that that was such an efficient way to set up these characters. The other piece of it, too, to Rob's point, for my money, having Superman on screen more gives all the other characters that I love more to do. Because if we see a lot of Clark Kent, then it's Clark Kent doing journalism stuff, and I don't want to see that necessarily. He's a rube as a journalist. Let the journalists be journalists, and that's what I got in this movie.
Though, but I would say, though, if you look back at even like a 78 Superman, the rube is essential to the character development of how characters interact and how you feel about them later on. And that's one of the things that's lacking for me in this film, is that I don't fully understand the whole newsroom. I have no understanding of his relationship with Perry White.
Yeah, Perry White got second string, maybe third.
No, I mean, like at all, like none of this. Like there's so many other characters going on, and for me, again, I'm struggling with it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just did not connect with it.
Because
I was missing those essential relationships.
See, and that's where I think those are inessential. What this movie proves is that they're inessential.
I think that part of it was like having that conversation with him and Lois that early isolates Superman. And like that's the whole thing, is that he ends up being like, wow, nobody really gets this. Nobody understands. Like even he can't even, man's best friend isn't even a very good dog. I mean, like he's
a bad dog.
He's a bad dog for the most of the and so all the way through he's just told no and you're wrong and you're bad, and he has to just that's the real battle he's fighting. The whole thing is like nobody's on his side, and he has to just like, okay, well this is where I'm going, this is what I'm doing. Even his own girlfriend like sort of turns on him in that whole thing.
I don't know that it turns on him. I don't know that she turns on him. But then I think that, and what I think we're all grappling here with, and I was going to ask this as a question, but I feel now that you all have answered it, is that to me the power of that interview was it helped set in this universe, okay, what is this Superman? How does this one work? Because that the dialogue and back and forth, and him really just kind of stressing, but people would die. As a modern cynic, you're like, yes, but there's more. Because I really feel that most of us would think more like Lois Lane, like, hey, yeah, there is more to consider than people would die. But it actually, that conversation helps kind of level set how this Superman views the world, and it allows you to kind of, at least for me especially, it allowed me to then, okay, I can now hop on the journey with this Superman, and then say, okay, now I understand what your worldview is and how you're seeing things, so then I can then follow along and go with you.
The argument wasn't you shouldn't just always do good. It's you don't get to decide what is good unilaterally. That seemed to be the main part of, he just decided what the answer was and did it without consulting anyone. So the idea of saying that Superman needs a team does bring him into the fold and takes away from him just being a planet puncher that is too powerful and therefore no fun. You know what I mean? If he's just too powerful, if he can spin the world, the time goes backwards. I think that was a thing once, right? Either way,
that was the 78.
Yes, we'll never know.
Yes, that was the best.
But so I like that, and that he does need help from other people is an important thing to make him relatable and kind of interesting to watch.
Yeah, he builds his support system as the movie goes, even though he's already well established as Superman by the time we meet him.
The moment, I mean, I think one of the most fun moments for me is when Guy steps up to Superman, right? The fact that no one on the Justice Gang is necessarily afraid of Superman, right? This movie does an able job of level setting our metahumans in a way that Superman may be a prime among peers, but not be necessarily because of power, but because of ideology. And that's useful. That's useful to start a new franchise.
Yeah, what a great choice. I'm not a Nathan Fillion fan, but what a great choice to not only have him as Guy Gardner, but have the classic Guy Gardner of like, takes no crap from anybody, just absolutely fearless to the point of reckless, and disliked. Like he is not a fan, like in terms of like the world, like, and he could care less. It was brilliant. Just even in that final fight of him, like we see him do circles and cubes and walls stuff too, and then just middle fingers to blow out the tank. I was like, God, that's brilliant. Just absolutely fundamental understanding of that character that was so perfect.
There was one question I had, and I guess I'm going to couch this to Tommy, since you are the least comic book nerd amongst us. Did you have any issues with accepting that this Green Lantern was either not Hal Jordan, but was Guy Gardner and was different? Or at any point in time, were you watching this Green Lantern thinking, well, why isn't he acting like the other Green Lanterns that I'm aware of?
Yes, all of those things went through my head. And then at some point, I think someone says the lanterns.
Yeah.
Plural. And I was like, oh, there's more than one. This is something I should ask Ocean about later. And then I forgot. But yeah, I was sort of by that point, by the time he comes in, I was like, I don't know everything that's going on, but I just have to trust the system. And I love Nathan Fillion, and I thought I liked him and his team and everything. So by that point, I had given up, and I better understood, Russia, Ukraine, no, it's not that, but I get it. Like, everything else, a lot of other things had fallen into place, so I was much calmer by that point in the movie. But no, at first I didn't understand why he was a jerk, and I was like, I didn't see the Ryan Reynolds one, but I was like, he seems like a weird choice, and what's that haircut? And I didn't know that there was more than one Lantern Man, but now I do.
There's thousands.
There's so many lanterns.
Really?
This franchise is going to go forever.
They're space cops, and they're all over the universe. Yeah. But there's just a couple that are dedicated to Earth.
And get ready, they have all different colors. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, there's that too. Yeah, they're just the Green Lanterns I was talking about. But yeah, we don't need to get into that stuff.
Okay, so at this point, and I know, Tom, you've already said that you were kind of lost at the beginning, and as I'm watching this, because all of you are in my head as I'm watching this movie, and I thought, okay, so I'm watching along, and so far we've got flying things, there's the kaiju fight. I think Tom can kind of truck with this, and I think there's enough character stuff that I think Tom is going to be okay. And then we meet the pocket dimension, and I said, Tom's never going to watch a movie for me again.
Well, come on, he's seen Cabin in the Woods.
I was still on my back heels when I learned that there are portals, because I didn't understand Lex Luthor, so I was like, do we know that portals exist? And I guess we do, because Lois just puts on the front page pocket dimension, and no one goes they all just read the paper. So again, I wasn't ever quite grounded in what do people know, what don't they. There was but all of that stuff and the fight with his clone, all of that stuff, there was one thing that I wish wasn't in the movie, and it's so important to the movie that it's sacrilegious to say, but the idea of the fissure, this nonsense black hole river tearing a city apart. It's too big. It makes the movie too frenetic, and it's just too apocalyptic for me to see whole buildings falling against buildings like dominoes. That's old. I don't know. Maybe that's a James Gunn thing. It's certainly a Snyder thing. And it's just too much for me to have an entire huge building fall, but it's okay because that one lady in a Mazda captain gets there in time, holds it up. But it's like, not everyone made it out of that building. I can't.
Well,
can't.
They made a point that Metropolis had been evacuated.
Well, they said it was mandatory, but everyone was still on the bridge.
Everybody, that was basically telling the audience, hey, we're about to wreck this up, because that's a very big thing in Man of Steel leading into Batman v Superman is Superman does not care. He will punch people through buildings and knock buildings down. There are people in those buildings, and he does not care. And so this was deliberately set up as saying, like, look, we're going to blow some stuff up now, but it's okay. Because there are no civilians being hurt.
Then maybe I'm just worried about the budget.
Maybe.
City budget.
It's not really a James Gunn thing.
So much destruction. I can't stand it. It's too much destruction.
But I will tell you, so that you just hit on 2 points that I really wanted to make was, number one, the people in this movie, the citizens, don't seem to be phased by anything.
We talked about that in Incredible Hulk. Marvel, we did it too. Like,
I mean, they're not phased by anything. It's a kaiju fight. The guy's
still like, well, can't close the coffee shop, and it's like, what?
Exactly. Wait, which I don't understand. Okay, but then here's the thing, and I'm going to drop this. Here. If you're going to make a live action movie, I understand this is not a comic book movie. I understand this is a movie comic book. When you do things that change the law of physics, I am going to get kind of taken out of it. And when you just made the point about he's holding up a building on its side for one car to escape, all I had was my moment in Shazam where he catches a bus by the windshield.
Yeah.
And I went, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Because here's the deal. If you want to do that kind of stuff, and I'm not saying you can't do that stuff, but then go ahead and make your animated into the Superverse.
Yeah.
Because do you know how
I don't need
work?
that in a live action movie.
Yeah.
What's that?
Do you know how bullets work? Like a big fragile thing hitting a small hard thing is just gonna break the big fragile thing.
I mean, yeah. Like I got to tell you, that's one of my lowest points in this movie. Is that there's things here that I don't know why this isn't a live action movie. No matter what the tone is, no matter what you're trying to do, you eject me out of it at that moment.
It's a sad scenario that we all actually know what it looks like when giant buildings fall. And
It's true.
I understood.
Right? Like that's the sad case I think that you're making. Like I know what it looks like and they don't fall like that. And when the guy hits it, when Superman's holding it up, the bricks would fall around him and he'd fly up and be fine.
Kerplunk.
She'd be dead.
But
I was
Tommy,
okay
like,
with it
I
at this
don't-
point.
I don't know why we need that anymore.
Yeah.
Like
right.
We've gotten to the point now. It's just like oh yeah, buildings fall. Cool. Like can we get back to the people?
and I'm with you. I didn't expect to be on this side. Like I'm excited. Like if you're not even going to be realistic, even to a modicum of realism, don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do it.
I want to go back to the evacuation because I think that was more than necessarily virtue signaling against Snyder. What I think it does in the fabric of the movie is it makes the one brutal assassination more impactful, right? There is a point where a guy is assassinated at gunpoint, and I didn't expect it in this movie. I didn't see it coming. I don't have strong feelings against it. Others have. I'm curious your take on it.
Let me tell you how I traumatized my daughter in 2 hours because she knows her superheroes. Like she watches a bunch of the animated stuff, and so she knows the characters and things too. Already, like Tommy was saying, from the jump was like, why? Who hit Superman? Why is he down? Like, why are they called the Justice Gang? I mean, all these things. I'm like, shh. Like, we're in a movie theater. We can talk about all this on the car ride home. But when we got to the super-gulag, the prison in there, she was out and she was horrified and she was covering her face and crying and like a Superman movie absolutely wrecked her. Like from that point, I was like, oh, I have made a terrible choice. Like I was like, do I take her to Fantastic Four? Or do I take her to Superman? I'm like, it's Superman. It's bright. It's got crypto. And then we get to Siberia and we get to, playing Russian roulette and everyone's saying shit. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize this. And so she ends up curled up on her mother's lap weeping. During the final thing, because she's seeing Superman.
Oh, you buried the lead here.
By the time she gets to Superman being pounded into the ground, she was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And I was like, I've made a terrible choice. James Gunn,
Nobody
why?
expected. Wait. Nobody expected an on-screen headshot in this movie.
Yeah.
You could have not put it on screen, and I don't care if you go back 100 yards and you zoom out. There is an on-screen headshot in this movie. That's
so.
shocking.
Who was this movie not made for? Sweet little 11-year-old girls who just love Superman.
100%.
Wow. Yeah.
And you had promised her, don't worry, honey, nothing's going to happen to that man. Your
Yes!
father
It's
promises
Superman.
you.
Like,
He's got a dog.
He's got the dog.
If you believe anyone, honey, you believe me.
Wait. And hold on. Do you want to know something that's really screwed up? You've heard the stories that they cut the scene of Crypto getting punched in the face.
No.
Yeah.
No, I did not heard that.
So in test audiences, there is a scene where he gets punched in the face. The crowd went no, and they cut it.
Yeah, see, this is
bonkers.
I will cede the floor, but this is the James Gunn of it that I have a problem with.
But isn't that just also another example of where, like, in when you test screen movies, even horror movies or anything else, you can kill all the people in the world, but the dog has to live.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know, but
because I would argue that if you have a problem with Crypto getting punched, you should also have a problem with this headshot. Test audiences should have reacted. Test audiences should have had the same reaction to both, but if they don't, it's like you can kill people all you want to, but don't mess with that dog.
Okay.
Sorry,
am I the only one who cheered when the one dog got thrown into the tree?
It was like having her next to me, just like,
no, of course.
Like, why is Superman in that river of death? And I was like, I don't know.
You know, you should take her. You should show her the Kingsman. That'll be a palate cleanser. I made that
mistake.
Has she
seen The Substance yet?
It's tonight. We're gonna watch it tonight. Actually.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then Old Boy tomorrow. So it'll be a good time.
Oh yeah, no, you're done. She's done with you. Okay. Well,
back
Justice
to the good.
Gang. We've talked about Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, Hawk Girl, and Metamorpho. Element, what'd they call him? Element Man?
Yeah, they call it Element Man, which is his like sort of like Man of Steel. That's his like
right.
It's like Metamorpho the Element Man.
What do we think of how those last two? I think poor Hawk Girl got a little bit
short shrift,
got a little bit shelved.
When she dropped that dude, I was like, that's 100% Hawk Girl. Like,
yeah,
like,
that was cool.
Wait until they do the deep dive of that character.
Yeah, there's story. There is story.
If Tommy doesn't know,
oh yeah,
it's going to get real interesting.
Tommy doesn't know.
When they had a big deal about Superman being an alien, I'm like, well, Hawk Girl's right there. I'm like, oh, I wonder which version they're going with.
Yeah. It's no. I don't know if you've seen this. The actress, I forget her name. She did an interview where she talked about it's a combination.
Okay.
So here, not spoilers or anything. The character is a character who takes their own life.
Oh.
And then the spirit of the alien one assumes the body.
They're doing that. Okay.
Whoa.
So that's how they're doing
What?
it. And wait until I saw Ocean. Ocean just was like, I'm out.
Yeah. I'm comfortable with Alien Hot Girl. That's the one I'm. That's
I was thinking that's what I was hoping.
Yeah,
too.
that's what I thought. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Which also was my in the universe of the movie itself was part of my quibble was I was like, well, Hawk Girl's an alien, so shouldn't Luthor also hate her as
I was
much?
that too.
But he doesn't. But then they have one scene where she, that she's just sitting there hanging out reading a journal in the Hall of Justice, and they don't have the wings. It's just so the wings are retracted. So I was like, oh, okay, well maybe they chose the human one, or I couldn't tell what it was, but I knew that Hawk Girl was an alien, and I was like, there should be more of this. But also, getting back to everything, and this is where I was able to handle how during the kaiju fight everybody's doing selfies in the coffee shop once they open. When they open with 300 years of meta-humans, then at that point, no one on screen wouldn't even know anyone or have any relatives or even know old relatives. They'd be like, what was it like before metahumans? So this would be a thing they see all the time. So, and I think that they're trying to give you a little glimpse of that in a moderated comedic moment when, when the Justice Gang is fighting that light, the space imp, space imp, and Clark and Superman and Lois decide it's time to have a conversation about their relationship, and that fight is going on in the background. And I don't know about you guys, but during that whole scene, all I could think of was Baby Groot dancing around and I wanted to, I wanted some Electric Light Orchestra playing. But aside from that, I think that it was also the at least the other deeper part of that was to show in this universe, yes, this is how it is. They've always, because metahumans have been around this long, this type of stuff would happen all the time. Yep. And so they would just be like, yeah, it's over there again. I'm fine.
Did you miss the scene? When I was watching that, I'm thinking when he starts using the baseball bat on the alien.
Yes. Yeah, that was funny.
I honestly, God, thought that they were going to go to a shot of them in the battle and going, where the hell is Clark? we're getting our ass kicked. We don't know what to do. Use a baseball bat. Like, that'd have been
again, so comic. Like that. Yeah. That's just reinforces the movie comic book ness of it. That just felt like dry humor.
Obviously the Justice Gang shows up and immediately is like, go for the eyes, and Superman's like, could we maybe just take it away? Like,
Oh, apparently I didn't.
Oh, yeah, I didn't like that comment. All right. Well,
no, he said that was Rex. One too. So you don't feel alone.
Right. I swear. There's something thumb shaped.
He hates it when I talk to him. So it's all good.
I do want to say just on the performances, Anthony Carrigan, we don't get a chance to see Anthony Carrigan really shine as Metamorpho in this movie, but I hope that he gets a chance to shine later. I loved him as Victor Zsasz in Gotham. I was a big fan of his performance in that show, and I am thrilled that he actually gets something on the big screen like this. And Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific for All Mankind?
Yeah, For All Mankind. He had a really big role in.
Outstanding.
His fight on the sand was my favorite.
I would say that maybe for me the best
highlight.
fight.
That was I'd never seen the T-spheres used as a weapon like that. And
So
I thought that was imaginative. And honestly, though, it did take me, there was a part of the greatness of that scene is it made me then want to say, okay, well, can the rest of this movie, can we just follow him? And just, we'll just catch up with Superman at the end. Just let's see what Mr. Terrific does.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets a movie out of this, right? Can we lay our money down? He gets a movie.
JSA, baby.
Yeah.
No, it's Justice Gang.
Yeah, well,
I want
that
honestly,
can't live beyond this movie. Please tell me that.
I know it's not gonna, but I want Guy to win the argument. I want it to be the Justice Gang. I know it's not gonna happen, but I just there's part of me that wants it.
Well, I think we have not talked about, and I want to just see, just as does anyone have a problem with this Superman? Honestly, from the jump, I was like, this is Superman. I never once went, he's doing a nice job of acting. I mean, I know Rachel Brosnahan from a bunch of things, but and I thought oh, she's doing a really good job as Lois. But from not one time in the whole thing did I was he's doing a nice job of acting as Superman. He just was Superman.
I loved him, and I think he has dimples of steel.
Yeah. And even Mark Waid, who was a longtime DC writer, said something very similar, where he's just this is the most Superman I've ever seen on screen.
I need to bring up a list of all of the actors who have played Superman on screen. Let's see. We have the Dean Cain, of course, I think is the quintessential Superman,
yes,
right?
He turned out to be a pretty cool guy.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, Christopher Reeve, and that's the thing. I found watching Corenswet in this movie, I didn't miss any of the other Supermen that I liked. Right? I didn't miss them. I didn't even think about them. And only now do I think, oh, poor Henry Cavill.
I know. I think the same thing.
Well, did you not like any of those Superman portrayals at the time? While I agree that I think David Corenswet did a good job, I am hard pressed also to when I think through, especially from a movie standpoint. Well, there wasn't one that I hated. Was there one that is there anyone that's done this that you were like? I mean, I even liked Brandon Routh. I get that the movie didn't work, but what he was trying to do with I think he did a good job with what he was being handed.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
good news, you're Superman. Bad news, you're a deadbeat dad.
Exactly.
Oh, do I have to be?
Right.
No, I absolutely liked him. I liked Tyler Hoechlin is the Superman on Supergirl. He actually was a great Superman. Tom Welling, Smallville, great Superman. I think they all have it. But again, I didn't miss any of them. Especially, I was worried I was going to go in and say, I wish this was Henry Cavill. Because he just sort of defines modern Superman face, and now David Corenswet is it. I get it.
For this type of Superman, he is perfect. He is perfect.
Yeah, I think Henry Cavill it would be hard to see Henry Cavill if they switched to this version. Because the Henry Cavill is great for that. If we're gonna make a brooding Superman, I mean that's what I want my brooding Superman to look like. Like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong
or
with
Nicolas Cage. I could still take a Nicolas Cage.
Hey,
Superman.
he got 5 minutes.
He did 5 minutes, seconds,
Exactly.
seconds.
I'd take a Nicolas Cage Superman movie right now.
Yeah, I would take that.
The entertainment value alone.
The score has been a bit of controversy. I think there are a lot of folks out there who have been spilling barrels of ink on the idea for John Murphy and David Fleming comes from Gunn, who says you have to reinforce the Superman heritage by integrating John Williams themes into this. And
this was done much better in terms of incorporating it than Jurassic Park. or Jurassic World Rebirth, which had one of the most laugh out loud needle drops in the entire series of movies. So not once did I would go like, oh, this is not the right time to use the Superman thing.
Yeah. No, I actually quite liked it. It's also not the first time that they did it. They also did it, I think, on Man of Steel. Was it Man of Steel? It was the Brandon Routh one. And so it's not the first time.
That's supposed to be a sequel. I mean, that's supposed to be Superman 5.
Right, right. I've been listening to the score all morning, and I actually quite... Oh,
that's fun.
I really like it. I find it integrates very, very well the original theme and some really modern orchestration. We get some real drums. We get some electric guitar. We got a lot of stuff in there that I wouldn't have expected. So where do we stand on the score? It is as important, I think, to Superman. The music is as important to Superman as the Williams score to Star Wars for making the movie complete. And I'm curious if you felt that lived up to itself here.
I found it overused a little bit too much. There's three. I think there's 3 logo screen passes in the film. That might be one too many, right? And I thought that the theme was overused a few times. It seemed like it was too much. Because you can't, because then what you get is you get what happened in Jurassic World. It's not. I think it's great. I do want to listen to it because I think I was so focused on the craziness of what was happening. I didn't listen enough, and I do want to hear it on its own.
And of course, James Gunn, always with a good playlist. So didn't go super heavy like Guardians, but just a couple of songs placed along the way that I was like, well, this is a good choice. Like even a lot of stuff I didn't know. So.
Oh, did you know the was it the Crabjoys? It turns out I love that song. I've had that. The Mighty Crabjoys theme is on the
written
the
by
score,
James Gunn.
It's great.
That's really great. They're not real, right?
No, they're not real.
Okay, because I thought you were about to say that. Did you know they were real? And I was like, no, they're not. I thought they were made up.
They're made up. No, they were. It's a banger. It's a banger. Anything else that you came into this conversation really, really hoping you could rant about before we get to our ratings? Oh, Rob is raising his hand. Rob.
So I would like to say this. Here's the biggest reason. The biggest problem I had with this movie is 26 years ago, I walked into a movie theater and I saw one of my favorite movies of all time. There is a print of it on the wall with the small character holding up the Action Comics #1. It is not the first time that Superman's origin has been tweaked, where in this movie, spoiler, it is found out that his parents have sent him to the Earth to conquer it and to overtake it because we're okay. And as soon as that happened, I sat there and went, oh my God, guess what, Iron Giant, who aspires to be Superman? Superman is you. And that kind of blew my mind, and I didn't know exactly how to take it. And again, not the first time this has been done. I think Smallville waded into this, but it's the first time I've seen it on screen. And then later on in the movie, Superman has a conversation with his father that is literally almost word for word the conversation Hogarth has with the Iron Giant. Literally almost word for word. And I went, what's happened here? I don't know how to process that. And I'm honestly surprised there's not more people talking about this. It's literally beat for beat. You choose who you want to be. You don't have to be a Gunn. You choose. Whoa. Was that had to have been intentional, and why? And I'm not sure I like any of that.
I know why, and I think Ocean does too, because that will be drowned out by the people going, "Hey, that's Invincible," because that's what it is. They honestly, Robert Kirkman, watched Super stuff. He's like, "Hey, what if Superman instead of it was actually sent to invade and conquer the planet?" And so that's Invincible's origin story, which now everyone is now watching in the animated series. And now they're like, hey, what if Superman, they were set down? Like, yes, not only has Invincible done this and years ago, and there's an animated series about it, but also The Adventures of Superman, which is on HBO Max right now, is also doing this story. So when this shows up, I was
the same thing.
Wow, that's like like this is not new or interesting or different. Like, yeah, we've seen this. So what that comes as a big thundering revelation. I was like, oh, okay. So you just stole from the people who were inspired by you. Okay, cool.
But, okay, so then I will just say though, I went back and watched the Iron Giant scene, and I'm seriously shocked at how much it matches beat.
And
for
it could
beat.
very well be. It could very well be
Like,
that he, as a movie fan, he wants it stuff too. But that's not what he was going to be talking about. They're going to go in like,
of course,
look over on Amazon Prime. They're
old.
doing the exact same story.
Yeah, that I guess. So I mean, like for me, and this is the thing. This is like my close up on this is. I am blown away. Like, again, I still can't believe Lois, how great she is. I can't believe how some of the performances are, right? And there's little notes, like one little thing that I actually noticed in the film, and then I went online to check it out. In the plaza of Metropolis, there is the Metropolis Museum of Modern Art. You'll see it in the background. This exhibit is named after two of the guys who were the writers of the comic book where they introduced the phrase, "Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman." The graphic on the wall promoting it is a pattern that has birds transforming into planes. And you'll notice it on the part where he hits the ground. So literally the scene is, it's a bird,
Superman.
it's a plane. No, it's Superman.
Oh my God.
Now I got to tell you, that's brilliant. And I am so fighting with myself, even after this conversation. I no further know what to make or think of this movie. I have no idea. None.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Kyle, did you have more you'd like to add to the rant?
Well, I feel I said a lot, but yeah, essentially with where I come always down to is that James Gunn is one of those guys who, if you go from where he started out, even and you could, and please don't go read his tweets. He'd ask you not to. From where he started out, from trauma, from as being like a young punk, like I'm gonna stake up the establishment kind of guy, and very, I would say probably he would even say maybe misogynistic. I mean, just from it and gross out stuff to where he is now is incredible. Like the amount of work he has done and evolution he's done, and the fact that like he is a much more put together, reserved, and pleasant to be around, and has like a no BS policy on his sets and stuff too, is a great, and I don't want to take anything away from that, but that guy's still in there, and every once in a while something comes out and I was like, oh man, like every one of his movies is a little bit better, but there's always like, it's like 25% where I'm like, just why? Like, I even was talking to a friend of mine. He's like, someone will say something really poignant and then there'll be a fart joke. And I'm like, yeah, it's like, he's confident and then we'll pull back and just be like, but also something weird, also something gross, also something inappropriate. You can go, yeah, okay. And it's the percentage is getting smaller, but it's always there. And there's so stuff in the gulag, and like, Superman vomiting up pieces of engineering stuff too. It was like, yeah, okay. Did we need this? Like, all right. So
I like that part.
There's certain things along the way where I'm going along, and all of a sudden it'll just like, and I don't want to, it's the whole auteur thing. And he wrote it, he directed it, he produced it. Like,
yep.
And he wrote some of the music. I mean, like it's a lot of him. I know, but I know a movie is a combination of things. But there's always something from Guardians 1, 2, 3. There's all these things that are not just like, oh, I wish he wouldn't have, but like, God, why? And there's a couple of those things in here too that make me feel that. And so that's why I'm sort of with Rob too, is like, I enjoyed it. I'm glad this is the big, hopeful, bright colored Superman that I wanted, interacting with a bunch of heroes. Great. And there's just something that I can't quite wrap my head around and fully embrace it in a way that I can, like with a lot of the Marvel movies, not all the Marvel movies, but a lot of the Marvel movies where I can just go like, all fantastic, all good, you're gonna love it, and then to go, but there's that but just stays with me.
Let me poke at just one that I think probably stuck out for you, and it happened at the very end. This is a good time at the very end of our conversation to poke at it. We have the teaser for Supergirl. And I'm very much looking forward to that movie. And I have a feeling that you and I don't agree about Supergirl's presence. When she shows up, she is drunk. She's stumbling around. And her last line is, "Thanks for watching my dog, bitch."
Yep. I was like,
I
did not
loved
have
it.
on my bingo card.
It's
I
so
was like,
much.
someone called Superman a bitch. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's family. Family's complicated. I was with it the whole time.
Once it's established that he was dog sitting, I was like, this just made this movie so much better because it wasn't his dog.
Yes.
Of course it wouldn't listen to him. It was never his dog. I was like, that was such a brilliant touch. And I've read the comic book that they're adapting for Supergirl. So when she shows up, I was like, oh yeah, that's right out of Supergirl world. I mean, like it's like actually they're doing exactly that, and I was fine with that. But yeah, call Superman a bitch as like as the movie ends. I was like, huh. Okay.
We were dying in the theater.
And
Dying.
for the record, he doesn't say that he adopted. He says it's a foster situation. And in a crowded theater, I went, "Ooh." I made a noise because that's my dog's name, and I forgot I was in public.
All right, let's go around real quick and do what we do. This is our duty. We have to letterboxed it. Letterbox.com/the next realtor. You can find our HQ page. Out of 5 stars, half stars count for all of you rubes yourselves. I'm whole stars only, but that's okay. I don't look down on you guys at all. Tommy?
I am giving it 3.5 with a heart, and with the chance that if I see it again, that it might actually move up more now that I know where to meet it and I understand the world better. Ocean's comment of this has been going on for 300 years. So yes, people are okay with portals and monsters, and that's why they keep eating yogurt when their city is being torn in half. And so, now that I understand the vibe more a little bit, I think maybe I would feel better about that. I will fast forward through some of the huge Fisher stuff. That's just the stuff that was just too big, too apocalyptic for me. But 3.5, and a very happy to give it a heart because its heart is so in the right place, and it's got a real neat message of people are people. It doesn't matter where they're from. People are people, and do your best.
With all that,
and journalism is important.
Yes.
It's the truth is important.
These are all
Tom,
horribly
I'm going
tiny
to ask you.
Yeah,
I want to ask you a question, and I think everybody should answer this question too, because I think it's an important one. This is the beginning of Peter Safran and James Gunn's sort of leadership of DCU. They report directly to. I keep wanting to say Victor Zaslav. And so does your experience with Superman leave you feeling more optimistic, or do you just not even care about upcoming entries into this universe?
Much more optimistic, and I know you jerks are going to make me see a bunch of them, so much more optimistic than anything that Zack Snyder has ever shared. Was never for me. So this is the things you're looking up a great deal for me.
Kyle.
Oh, are we back to stars?
Stars, and then the thoughtful question.
Yeah, I think I'm with Tommy. I think 3.5 stars puts it right where it is. I think I could go up to 4, and now that I can go back into it, not looking for what happens next and the connections and all that kind of stuff. I really enjoyed it. Was sobbing child and all. And there's a lot of stuff to and I get to do like this where we get to sort of go around and talk about all these different things. I mean, there's all these other weird lore and stuff that they put in that I like, oh, I see what you're doing. There's all in jokes and things, which I appreciated, but didn't take away. I've seen those where they were so insular. They're so dense with like we're all referencing the same things, we're all talking about the same things and leaving everyone out. This was very much designed, I think, for the wider audience, for the wider world who just knows Christopher Reeve as Superman and Tom Welling from Smallville, and that's it. That's like their entire thing, and they could just go into this and then have experience. I'm curious to see how they will feel about it, and I will absolutely give it a heart.
Okay, and your level of optimism for future projects in the DCU?
Well, this is interesting because the James Gunn of it is still what gets me. Like, I just watched the first season of Peacemaker again, which I think is brilliant and infuriating. Like, there are moments where I was like, but why? Like just little bits, character moments, or even dialogue, or just the way they take things, or the way he will take a character that exists and wipe away their entire thing just to put another personality and origin on. I was like, why didn't you just make someone new, or like that stuff? So him at the helm doesn't always make me because I hated Creature Commandos. I thought it was awful, and that was pure him. And then we get to see Superman, which is sort of him trying to be more connected with the audience, and it worked. But I know the Creature Commando guys is the same guy who's doing this. So I'm excited to see what happens when he's not the one writing and producing and directing everything. Let's see how he is as a Feige, where it's just like, I'm overseeing this, but this is your movie. You're directing it. These are the writers. This is the thing. Let's see what happens when his hand isn't the one at the wheel.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
And then we'll see if this is a universe or if this is just the James Gunn show.
Yeah, right. Ocean.
Okay, so from a rating standpoint, first off, I wanted to thank you guys for this conversation, because I really feel now that anytime I'm unsure about a comic book movie, I just need to get Kyle and Rob and be like, hey, let's talk about what's going on here, because it actually has improved my rating from what I thought originally was 3 stars to a 4-star movie that always had a heart.
Okay,
the movie always had a heart. I'm gonna watch this again, and so
100%.
I have there are the 2 large quibbles that I have that I will echo, one of which was Tommy's, the whole fissure with the pocket verse thing there. My quibble with it is different, whereas I look at the whole thing and when you look at how it ended, I was like, I don't think Mr. Terrific needs Superman to fix this. So then I was like, well, again, I was like, let's just have Mr. Terrific, let's follow him around, and then at the end Superman can show up and talk to Lex, right? And that's good. And then I guess the other thing, which I know we didn't talk about, but I'm just going to shoehorn it in here. I hope that they, in the future episodes of this, Clark Kent gets fired from the Daily Planet, because they have done a good job of making the Daily Planet, they are real journalists doing really smart things and figuring things out there of consequence, and we're going to do that, and that's great. But you cannot at the same time have all of this happen, and at no point in time someone says, hey, where's Clark?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so no one asked, and it was like kind of like, so it's like, you're smart enough to figure out they're hooking up, which I like that. I loved that when Perry was like, hey, how long have they been getting together? And then Olsen told them the right amount of time, like they both had figured out what was going on. I like that. If you're going to make them that smart, they cannot be stupid enough to be have Clark Kent in their lives as directly. So anyway,
where's Clark? Where's the worst journalist in the newsroom?
Yeah.
Why would they want him around?
Well, but he always gets Superman interviews. But then
he does.
So anyway, so that was my thing. Anyway. I think that they're too smart for that. And as far as the future with the James Gunn thing, I think that I'm optimistic, and I've always wanted DC to do well. I've never understood why Marvel just cleans their clock consistently, because DC has bigger characters. I am an unabashed fan of the Marvel movies, but at the same time, this should be 2 juggernauts competing, not Marvel's great and DC has a bunch of junk. So I am optimistic, and I'm hopeful that they are able to maybe that James Gunn can be like the initial Kevin Feige, where he's just overseeing phase 1, 2, and 3, and that even though it's other people's movies, he has the direction and he's doing the thing. And as long as and the way this looks, as long as they stay away from Batman, I think I'm going to be okay with it.
Uh-oh, got some bad news for you.
What about Batman in space?
Yeah, they need if they start doing any of this stuff to Batman, I'll be like, okay, no. Batman needs to be like the Batman. I want him gritty. I want him traumatized. I want him dark.
I want him with a V12.
Gotham City next left.
Right.
Yes,
Damian is coming.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob.
Okay, I'm not kidding. You're all going to cringe that I'm going to give Tommy this much credit.
The hell was that
for? Okay, here's the deal.
Knives out,
because,
beaks bloody.
Okay, I was absolutely going to be a 2.5, but literally based on what Tommy said, I'm giving it a 3.
Oh.
You changed. No, actually, you're right, because even my frustrations with it, you cannot deter people from the positive, the hopefulness, all of that. So absolutely 3. Am I optimistic? Yes. Now, I might be one of the few people. I love the Snyderverse. Loved that was different, tonally different from what the MCU was doing. I'm sad to see it go, but as all things, this too shall pass. Nothing great lasts forever. And so I am happy to see what comes next. Like I am absolutely optimistic. As much as I want to see Supergirl, I really am much more curious about Clayface. And I want to see what happens with that. And that will be a whole different conversation. But yes, totally optimistic because I love to see where the stories take us. Even if they're frustrating, it's fine. I'll still watch the Iron Giant. Everything's okay.
You'll always have your Iron Giant.
There you go.
I am thrilled that this movie exists. I'm thrilled with the performances. And even there was a pocket dimension, and I didn't have a problem with the pocket dimension. Mostly, I loved the characters they chose. They were not the most weird fringe characters, and I expected James Gunn to introduce more of the fringiest of fringe characters in the catalog, and he didn't. He played right. Like this goes back to the conversation we had, episode 1 of the Marvel Movie Minute. You got to earn your wizards, and grounded Iron Man made room for Doctor Strange. Well, you know what? The Marvel movies have carried a lot of water for DC, today's DC, and I think being able to give us this more grounded Superman is going to set the table for great movies to come. My favorite is going to be Green Lantern. Absolutely. I cannot wait to see what they do with the Green Lantern Corps. And so give me more of that. I'm home. Give me more of that stuff, and I am absolutely home. I am going to buck your middling reviews and give it 5 stars. I am a child. Whoa. And I loved it. 5 stars and a heart, suckers. We'll see if that goes down later, but I'm here to advocate. This was a bonus. This was an extra. We just got excited and needed to talk about it, and this podcasting is our love language. So we're still doing Thursday Murder Club on the Film Board next month, and that's all the news we have that's fit to print. Thank you, guys. Kyle, what do you want to pitch?
Am I working anything big? No, everything is still locked down, top secret.
Oh, you're still in secret mode. Okay.
It's in the Fortress of Solitude.
Got it. Locked up. New projects to come. Rob, yes. I'm just glad you're podcasting with us, man. You came out of retirement, it feels like.
I am working on a little project on LinkedIn, of all places. So if you're not on LinkedIn, get on there and then follow me, search me out, and we'll see how the rest of the summer goes.
What kind of mystery happens on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Ocean, I'm glad you're back, man. What are you doing on Adrian Moment?
Yes, Adrian Moment, where our partner Jim and I discuss sports movies. Our next episode will be 2016's movie Race, which is the Jesse Owens story about the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. So to keep things light in our next episode, we decided to talk about sports, racism, and Nazis.
Oh, what a trilogy. Okay. Yeah. Tom, what are you doing?
I'm recording podcasts with you. We're wrapping up season 10 of All the Feelings, adulting, and we have 2 more episodes, and then we'll have solved the world. You're welcome.
You're welcome, adult wannabes. That's what we're doing, and also we've got some other new shows that are out and about. Craft and Chaos is a show that I'm doing with Kyle. I don't know why he didn't want to plug it, but I'll do it. It's great. We're having a great time with our friends, author Ryan Dalton and TV writer-producer Misty Stinnett. And it's about creativity when the world's on fire. And we're doing great. We're figuring out how to do that, too.
Yeah. And things get really weird.
Things are really weird. And, there's a whole horse subtext that you just have to know going in. Don't feel like you have to figure it out. It's just there.
Yeah.
We're learning, too. And I launched, actually, as we record this yesterday, the first episode of my new show, Headstone, a show about human legacy is out because, a well-lived life deserves a great last line. That's the pitch.
Love it.
And so we asked the question, what do you want on your headstone? I'm having a really great time with that show, too. So check it out. Everything at truestory.fm. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. And we will see you next time. Meeting adjourned.